Female genital mutilation, FGM, or female genital cutting, some know as FGC, is when people cut or remove parts of the female genitalia. So there are varying degrees of FGM or FGC, depending on what is and is not removed. And that can then have an impact on the quality of a woman's life and the potential complications she can have from that procedure. I left Somalia with my family when I was 3, because that was the outbreak of the civil war. And then we were refugees in Kenya for 4 years. So that's where I remember most of my memories from, is from like when we lived in Kenya. Very relaxed childhood. I just remember playing with the kids in the neighborhood. I remember my mum going to the market to, do her little business, and my dad would go and work with the UN, helping other refugees. My mum and my adopted brother took my sister and I, when I was 5 years old, to a medical clinic, and I saw them perform it on her first. So I thought it was just I wasn't sure what was going on. And I saw that, they cut her, she was like struggling, she peed, so there was all this like pink bloody urine. And then it was my turn, and I remember I'd love to count, so I counted all the injections as they injected my genital area. So there was 18 injections, and then I saw, that the doctor cut away my labia minora, which is like the inner lips, and didn't really feel anything. But then when they cut off like the hood and the tip of my clitoris, it felt like a bolt of electricity. I kind of froze. And then they did a little bit of stitching, and they wrapped my legs, and it was done. It took less than 30 minutes. I think my mom's recollection, or her idea of why she did the FGC, was she thought she was doing something to protect us. Before we came to Australia, a lot of people got in her head and kind of scared her and said, look, you're going to Australia, they have a different culture, a different value system, they're going to corrupt your daughters. And to keep them kind of chaste, to keep them pure, to make sure they stay virgins until they get married, you really need to do this for them. It's for their best interest. So I think she really thought she was doing something that was going to benefit us. I didn't really think that FGC had an impact of my life growing up. But then, my mum took us to some classes about FGC and how it was bad, and I started feeling ashamed. It was before, in our culture, it's something to be proud of. It's something that, is like a badge of honor. It shows that, you're a good girl. And I started feeling really embarrassed and ashamed of my body. And then recently I had the start of the FGM reversal. There's some laser treatment that you can get. And I didn't think it had an impact, but then the doctor told me that a lot of my pain was coming from that. And even after the first treatment, I just felt so free from, I had a lot less pain, and I felt free of it. It was fantastic. Yeah, FGC is still a huge problem. A lot of girls and women get it done. I really think that progress can be made through education of the communities and the women, and the men as well. The men usually say that it's a woman's issue, but they're the ones who usually finance and support in a silent way the continuation of the practice. So really education, and then providing maybe livelihoods for these people so that they can see that they don't have to do this to their daughters, that they can give their daughters a better life in a different way. I don't think families do this to their daughters to harm them. They really think they're helping them out. They think that they're kind of ensuring or protecting their future. They're making sure that they're able to get married in their community. And really what needs to happen is a culture shift, a shift in the culture where this is just not something that's acceptable. And at the same time, I think that the women and girls who have had it done to them should not feel ashamed that they've gone through this. They're not, victims, they're survivors. And I really think that we can't impose a solution onto a community. The community really needs to be, part and parcel of coming up with a solution for themselves. I just wish that my mum had waited until I was older and an adult, or knew what was happening, so I could have a choice. I wasn't really given a choice. It happened to me when I was 5, and I just feel like this isn't something I chose. And if I'd been given a choice, I would have said no.